We're back for another week of high school football on 1150 WIMA. It is the Web Insurance Countdown to kickoff. 7 weeks in the books, and week 8 is upon us. Todd Walker here, Mike Miller and Jason Aldrich are with me as we do our prognostications, analysis, and general goofing off. Before we look at this week, a quick review from last week as we make picks on 5 games every week. Last week, Aldrich, 3-2.
I went against the coin and got burned.
Walker, 4-1.
Not bad, Todd, not bad.
Miller, 5-0. So Miller, with a comeback week after going 2-3 4 consecutive weeks, Miller bounces back with a 5-0, but still residing in the basement in the cumulative standings. Walker at 28-7, Aldrich at 24-11, Miller at 22-13. Last week, Mike ran the table as he took Ottawa Glandorf over Elida. That was the real switch game because Jason and I had Elida. We all took Kenton, we all took Spencerville, we all took Ada. And the other split was on Coldwater St. John's. Miller and I taking the Cavs, Jason taking the Jays. And there you have it.
Bold prediction with my new philosophy. I will go 5-0 this week also.
Oh, brother. Well, let's get right to it here. And let's start with our broadcast game this week. It is Elida at Bath. 2 teams that really need to win out if they want to make the postseason. Elida in the playoffs last year, hoping to get back in this season. And this is an old rivalry now that's kind of rekindled with both teams playing each other with winning records for the 2nd consecutive year. It's at Bath tonight. Mike, your thoughts on this game?
I think actually Elida has more to play for because Elida is probably better positioned to make the postseason with the victory. But having said that, the offensive explosion that Bath was a part of last week has me on the fence on this game. This is not as easy as you might think. Because you might think, well, Elida's got the preferred passing attack. They're probably a little better in that regard. But I'm gonna throw that all out and go with the oh no wait, homecoming was last week at Bath, so another of my favorite ideas is out the window. I'm going for the Bath Wildcats this week because I think Smith is too good, and they've started to use their quarterback. Davis a little bit different than previously. That Elida ran into the wall last week against Ottawa Glandorf, and they're not going to recover on the road. I'm taking Bath.
Jason, who you got? Bulldogs, Wildcats?
I thought about going to the coin for this one, but I'm going to put it away in the pocket for now. I'm going to go Elida. I think their passing game is going to be a little bit too much tonight.
Yeah, this is could be a classic coin flip game. Both teams are 4-3. Both teams are coming off losses.
Different strengths.
But I like Elida in this game. I think Bath's defense is just bad. Kenton runs it up on a lot of people, but it was almost historically hideous last week. They never even slowed down Kenton, and I think Elida will bounce back. But I do like Bath's ability to run the football. This could be a bit of a high-scoring affair, but I think Elida is your winner in that one. Let's stay in the Western Buckeye League and to talk OG. Last week, they got the late score to win at Elida, turn their season back around. Titans at 5-2, entertaining a dangerous St. Mary's team, a 3-4 Rough Rider club that, Mike, you saw last week against Wapakoneta. Let's talk about OG St. Mary's.
I do like St. Mary's a lot. They're a lot more dangerous offensively than you might think. Their quarterback is a little small and maybe kind of hurts them as a running option with the QB. In fact, the only guy really that was prepared to run the ball was DJ Manning. Rough Rider defense is only average also. I just think physically Ottawa Glandorf's got it all over St. Mary's, and there's too many weapons for OG. The Titans have a really good quarterback, and they've got 2 credible receivers. They've got some good running backs, a big-time fullback, too many weapons, and too physical overall for Ottawa Glandorf. Plus, the path is clear now for OG after beating Elida for them to get back to the playoffs. I think it's all about OG.
Jason?
I've gone against OG way too many times this year, especially on this pick segment. So I'm going to go with the Titans to pull out a win tonight.
Yeah, I think OG is just better than St. Mary's, and I think any chance of people looking past St. Mary's was ruined when they beat Bath early in the year. I think people realize that if you don't pay attention, they can hit a couple of passes on you, but OG should be on a roll now and finish the season strong. I'll take the Titans. Also in the Western Buckeye League tonight, a game with really no playoff implications, but two proud programs trying to have a winning season. Shawnee 3-4 at Defiance 4-3, and to me this is an intriguing game to see which team shows up and fully busts it, or if both teams do with nothing on the line as far as a league title or a playoff berth. It's all about pride here. Both teams have been pretty good throughout the season at times. Shawnee at Defiance.
Yeah, I'm going with Shawnee only because I think Shawnee across the board, again, the case is a little more physical. Defiance is not a big football team by any means. They've got a couple of good offensive weapons, but they're just a small team this year, and it hurts them against the bigger, stronger teams. And I'm going for Shawnee in this game, even though it's on the road, and turf could be an issue because it could be wet and windy. It might be a quagmire up there, so it'll be more of a rock'em sock'em game. I like Shawnee.
We're bringing it back, and we're not going against what it tells me. Heads, home team Defiance, tails, Shawnee on the road. It is tails, so it's Shawnee tonight.
All right, well, I'm taking Defiance. I think both these teams are evenly played, and I think you're right, Mike. Shawnee is probably a bigger, stronger team. But I think Defiance, if you look at the balance of their work, they've had a little bit better season. I just like Defiance tonight at home, and they're already 4-3, so
Keelan's a pretty good quarterback.
Yeah.
He can hit a little underneath stuff, and they can get something going. So you're right. I mean, Defiance has some opportunities to do damage. It's a close call.
Speaking of close games, what about Crestview at Spencerville tonight? Again, the preseason, nobody would have thought this was a playoff matchup, but as it stands right now, quote-unquote, if the season ended today, Crestview and Spencerville would both be in the postseason. Knights at 4-3, Spencerville at 5-2, and this is a game that is really a hard pick. Mike, I don't know how you feel about this one.
I like Spencerville in this game. I think their power attack is going to be too much for Crestview. Crestview can score points, as proven against good teams, but I think just top to bottom, Spencerville with their ball control and their running backs. How many do they have? They've got about 3 or 4 running backs, and they're all hard runners, that sort of thing. I think Spencerville's going to win this football game. That Crestview's been not good enough to beat anybody good all year long, and Spencerville's good, and they're not going to beat Spencerville.
I agree with Mr. Miller's synopsis on just about everything he said, so I will go with the Bearcats.
I picked the Bearcats for our Lima News feature, and I'm going to pick Spencerville, but I have a lot of reservations about this game. I'm really impressed with what Spencerville was able to do last week as far as their defense was concerned against Ada. They outgained Ada by well over 200 yards, but they had trouble holding on to the football. Crestview did, and that could be their undoing. Also, I think their option really leans on their quarterback, and I think that may help Spencerville zero in on them. I'll take the Bearcats. And our final pick goes to the Midwest Athletic Conference. Seems like every year Coldwater Marion Local decides the title or has a big part in it. They meet tonight in Maria Stein. Cavs coming off that huge win against Delphos St. John's last week.
I think the Flyers have more offensive firepower. They're both first-class defensive teams. This might somewhat be certainly a driver's seat game for the MAC, maybe for the title. I like Marion Local at home. I think they've got a better attack, better offense, and just as good a defense.
Well, I owe one to Coldwater because I went against them on the coin last week against Delphos St. John's, so I'm going with the Cavaliers.
You know what? I think both these teams are of high quality, obviously, but I like Coldwater. I just think they're more battle-tested, and they do, by the way, this would wrap it up basically for them because Marion Local still has to play St. John's.
Right.
Coldwater wins this week. It's pretty much over as far as the MAC, and I just always have trouble picking against the Cavaliers. I'm taking Coldwater to win at Marion Local. So quite a lot of different picks this week. I noticed that in our picks in the paper as well. This is a week with some real evenly matched games, and it's going to be a fun Week 8. I think. Our game is Bath and Elida, and we'll talk more about that and other games coming up as we continue with the Web Insurance Countdown to Kickoff. It's Week 8 here on 1150 WIMA.